Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an Insight. Episode 114. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we were discussing about Abdul Baba's manuscript, which is laden with the spiritual discourses given by Sri Sainath Maharaj to him. These were penned down in Modi script, which is a form of writing the Marathi language. Anyways, the use of Modi script has diminished since the independence of India. So now it is very difficult to find people who could read the script. Though Abdul Baba was not well educated, he tried to write down the philosophical truths expounded by Sri Sainath on various topics. So every night he would sit and record all that Baba spoke. It also contains topics concerning Islamic theology, its history, and subjects related to Sufi schools in his notebook. The Modi script is believed to be a challenging one to read. Hence, with the assistance of scholars, the text was reviewed to comprehend what was written on that. Translating this into English language was a great challenge. Devotees, to know about the challenges involved in translating Abdul Baba's notebook into a readable copy in English language, to know from whom the original copy of this manuscript was procured, how it was printed and published, please refer to the Sai literature Unraveling the Enigma, Shirdi Sai Baba in the Light of Sufism by Marian Warren, wherein she has given a detailed account of the efforts put by the various scholars to bring this precious content to the hands of the Sai children. Few chapters of the book Unraveling the Enigma is dedicated to publish the translated version of Abdul Baba's manuscript. Indeed, it was a tough assignment for the author Marian Warren, as she had to seek the help of many eminent scholars of both Urdu and Marathi language to understand the writing of Abdul Baba. All those research scholars who had the fortune of reading Abdul Baba's notebook marveled at the deep insight Sainath Maharaj had on the Islamic scriptures and on the different paths and traditions that were followed in each one of those divisions of their religion. Among the many Muslim devotees of Sainath Maharaj, Abdul Baba was the only Mohammedan to have the blessing of reading the Holy Quran in the presence of Sri Sainath. 3 Urdu specialists examined the manuscript of Abdul Baba and helped the author Marian Warren to translate it. Then this was finally reviewed by Azam Ali Sufi in Aurangabad. His antecedents helped him to qualify for this task, as they were great Sufi saints with thousands of disciples and bore the title of Qutub-e-Dakhan. Azam Ali Sufi affirmed that Sri Sainath Maharaj was fully conversant with the Quran and Hadith, and that the text exhibits a comprehensive knowledge of Sufism. He could not isolate from the wording in the manuscript any Sufi order to which Baba may have belonged, as all aspects of Islam and Sufism are mentioned, including lists of the prominent masters of the various Sufi orders. So now let's discuss about Abdul Baba's residence. His residence was the cottage which is exactly opposite to the present Chavadi. Next to a couple of shops, we can see a small entrance with a sign above it that says Abdul Baba's cottage. Even today, if devotees visit Abdul Baba's cottage, there they can see a photograph of Abdul Baba reading a big book which is the Holy Quran. Many mind boggling details are recorded in Abdul Baba's manuscript. It also contains the enigmas of Hindu gods as unveiled by Baba. For instance, it gives the sequence of the Dasavatar. Of course, one might find some variation in the pronunciations of those names. If Baba had pronounced it as Krishna, Abdul Baba might have written it as Kisna. Such negligible spelling errors are found in this manuscript. Likewise, Balarama might be written as Barama. Though such minor mistakes are found, they never affect the significance of the content. And Sainath Maharaj has listed down not one or two avatars to Abdul Baba, but almost 50 of the avatars of Hindu gods that are mentioned in various Hindu scriptures are written down here by Abdul Baba, which is incredible. In the earlier episodes, we have already discussed many interesting and mystical facts about this holy book of Abdul Baba. Abdul Baba knew the sacredness of this book, hence, after Baba's Mahasamadhi, the former used this holy text as a bibliomancy, and those who abided by the guidance given by Abdul Baba in this manner marveled and testified that this holy scripture, though didn't have any specific answers related to their queries, but to everyone's surprise, when Abdul Baba turned at a random page, mystically he found perfect solution, and that served as prophetic verses as they were so accurate and appropriate. Abdul Baba says his assertions have never failed. These are the worldly benefits that were enjoyed by devotees through this divine scripture until the passing away of Abdul Baba. But this book has a much greater purpose. Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji interviewed Abdul Baba to record his association with Sainath Maharaj and the experiences that were encountered by other devotees. During the interview, Abdul Baba provided many astounding information, and those are compiled and published in Sai literatures by Swamiji. The other distinct feature about this manuscript is Baba has expounded many Upanishadic truths dovetailing Islam. There are prayers to Maruti in those reports or parables of Baba. And this holy literature is noteworthy as it gives a deeper insight to the Vedic scriptures as well. Devotees, in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, we have read the exceptional interpretation given by Sri Sainath Maharaj to the ardent devotee Nana Sahib Chandorkar on Bhagavad Gita, which Nana, an expert in Sanskrit and well versed in the holy Bhagavad Gita, has never contemplated, nor any of the renowned scholars in those subjects thought of it. Even the Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam of Adi Shankaracharya did not have this perception in their commentaries on the Sanskrit verse. Similar expertise Sainath Maharaj had even on the Islamic scripture, the Holy Quran. Abdul Baba asserts that Sri Sainath has even sung few sonnets in Urdu. Those poems contain the verses of Maulana Rumi, a 13th century Persian poet, an Islamic dervish, and a Sufi mystic. He is regarded as one of the greatest spiritual masters and poetical intellects. There is another astounding detail that I would like to share with the devotees at this juncture. When we refer to page 39 of Abdul Baba's manuscript, it contains few ideals of life listed out by Sri Sainath Maharaj for a person aspiring to attain Atmanubhuti, that is, experience of self, which is considered as the highest state of spiritual practice. It says a person should eat less without coveting for enticing dishes, sleep less, refrain from engaging in any activities with women, must reside in mountains and forests, maintain celibacy, and renunciate. These principles are identical to the quote of the revered Hindu saint Sri Ramalinga Adigalar said in a spiritual context as a way of living for humans to manage the whims of life. He outlined his essence of teachings as Pasithiru, Tanithiru, Vilithiru, which means stay hungry, stay unattached, stay aware. In this context, the hunger represents the hunger for moksha, which is feasible when one leads a life of celibacy and renunciate his activities from the temporal world. Stay unattached means to be free from delusions, that is, not to get entangled, but to have detached attachment with the world. Stay aware is to be watchful over senses, that is, not to engage the senses in the pleasures of the world, rather consciously direct our mind to be ever engrossed in the thoughts of the Lord. Sri Sainath Maharaj's philosophies are also resembling the fundamental ideals of Sufism on one hand, and on the other reflects the teachings of Hindu saint Sri Ramalinga Adigal. The teachings of Sri Ramalinga Adigal is also turned around as the career planning philosophy for all aspiring individuals. When we pick up the first syllable from each word of this quote in Tamil, such as pa, ta, vi, it gives to a new term, padavi, which means a status in the career. So, if a person is aspiring to attain a high status in his career, then again he must stay hungry for knowledge and stay unattached to the role one plays in the office, as any managerial position or higher position may give hierarchical accountabilities and not mandate to treat subordinates with disdain and as inferior. Then stay aware means the person with insight will grow in one's career of choice. Thus, the spiritual insights of the Guru can also be correlated into career insights to enjoy temporal and gain spiritual benefits. Now, getting back to the original thread, Baba even restricted certain activities of Abdul Baba. He never encouraged over asceticism. Abdul Baba was instructed to read the Quran during night time. As per Islam, Muslims must pray 5 times a day, and the prayer done during midnight is very significant and special as they forego their sleep to do that prayer. The 5 daily prayers represent the natural states of fear and necessity in life, and the prayers also remind us that in every stage we must turn to God for solace and salvation from our problems. Once, when Abdul Baba was doing his midnight prayers, he dozed a bit, and Sainath Maharaj, noticing that, advised him, "Do not fall asleep over your reading. Sleep little, eat little, not to go in for variety of eatables." This instruction of Sainath Maharaj is also recorded by Abdul Baba in his notebook. Devotees, this advice of Baba reflects the 16th verses of Bhagavad Gita, quoted in the 6th chapter titled Dhyana Yoga. Natyashnatastu yogosti na chaikantam anashnataha na chati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. O Arjun, those who eat too much or eat too little, sleep too much or too little, cannot attain success in yoga. This same principle was advocated by Sainath Maharaj to his devotees. He advised them to adopt moderation in all their activities, which can be termed as moderation theory, and was also insisted by Gautam Buddha. Hence, Abdul Baba's manuscript is filled with the gracious utterings of Sri Sainath Maharaj, and anything that spills from his lips is sacred. Let us now listen to another interesting detail from this holy book. A person who does not have the sense of taste cannot discriminate between sweet and bitter dishes. Similarly, a person who does not have the excellence of enjoying the divine friendship of God cannot discriminate between an adept and a mediocre, and this message was asserted by Sri Sainath Maharaj by quoting the verses of Maulana Rumi. Likewise, Sri Sainath stated that only a goldsmith can differentiate between gold and other metals. There is one more parable voiced out by Sri Sainath Maharaj which says the beauty of the flower can be adored best by the bulbul bird. This quote is also based on an Urdu poem. Sri Sainath Maharaj gave these excerpts to make us realize that only a person who possesses the wisdom of God can experience the everlasting divine joy in their lives. Listeners, every parable pronounced by Sri Sainath Maharaj is precious, precise, and the purport of it guided Abdul Baba over a period of 30 years that he spent in the divine company of the Lord Sai and continued even after Sri Sainath Maharaj's Mahasamadhi. There is one more assertion of Sri Sai which goes thus: how can a person who has no sense of taste can distinguish between the taste of honey and its wax? That's impractical. Similarly, a person who has never had any experience of God can discriminate between a scholar and an ignoramus. Sri Sainath Maharaj has given several such simple yet profound parables, and I have just cited very few of them to share with the devotees. By reading Abdul Baba's manuscript, a devotee can also get a deeper insight to certain topics of Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, as one can find many connections with Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. For instance, in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, Baba has mentioned to one Narayan Teli, an oil merchant, that demolish the Teli's wall, that is the sense of difference between us, so that we can see and meet. This same parable has been stated by Sri Sai through sonnets in Urdu to Abdul Baba. So, devotees, this book is certainly a divine treasure to all the Sai Bhaktas. Thus, the life of Abdul Baba was completely dedicated in the service of the Lord Sainath Maharaj while Baba was in his mortal coil and even after his Mahasamadhi. Yes, if we refer to the assurances decreed by Sri Sainath, out of the 11 sayings, 4 of them indicates Sri Sainath's vast potencies, protection and guidance to his devotees after his Mahasamadhi. Sri Sai Baba attained Mahasamadhi during the year 1918. Though Sri Sainath has given his assurances, the devotees that thronged to Shirdi reduced considerably after the Mahasamadhi of Sri Sai Baba. Whereas, until 1918, Shirdi was flooded with people coming for Baba's darshan. When Puji Sri Narasimha Swamiji went to Shirdi during the year 1936 for the first time to have darshan of the tomb of Sri Sainath Maharaj, as the Pratima of Baba was not installed by then, he found Abdul Baba fanning the sacred tomb shrine of Sri Sainath Maharaj with peacock feathers and adoring the Samadhi with flower garlands. So, even after 18 years of Sri Sainath's Mahasamadhi, Abdul Baba continued to render his untiring and loving service to his Guru Sri Sai Baba. Isn't this incredible? Abdul Baba survived Sri Sainath by 36 years, but always felt the protection and guidance of Sri Sainath throughout those years. So, devotees, we have been listening about Abdul Baba and his association with Sri Sainath Maharaj. Though this chapter is about protection from snake bites, as it had some connections with Abdul Baba, we discussed a few specifics about him. Abdul Baba was also present in the Chavadi when Amir Shakar encountered a snake, and it is very exciting to know how the latter was saved from the snake bite, and we shall listen to those enthralling stories in the coming episodes. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.